In the mid-1990s, a fleet of wrecking balls systematically tore through a 2-block stretch of brick buildings in the American Midwest. The city of Calumet City, Illinois, spent $7 million taxpayer dollars to violently erase a section of its own downtown. Today, it's nothing but empty grass lots. Decades earlier, 5 men were murdered here over a 5-year span just for crossing the local bosses. A photographer investigating the area was beaten so severely he spent 3 months in the hospital. Another reporter vanished completely. To understand why a local government would spend millions to bulldoze its own streets, we have to look closely at the history buried under the rubble. In 1916, the state of Indiana outlawed alcohol, but directly across the state border, less than a street's width away, the town of West Hammond, Illinois, remained legally wet. Thirsty factory workers from northwest Indiana didn't stop drinking, they simply walked across the border. The Chicago outfit noticed the traffic. Al Capone and his lieutenants seized control of the local liquor supply by force, setting up a perfectly positioned bootlegging hub. The local residents hated the resulting crime wave. In 1923, they tried to fix their public relations problem by officially changing the town's name from West Hammond to Calumet City. But a legal name change on a map couldn't stop an economic takeover. The mob was already running the town. By the 1940s and 50s, the syndicate had turned the main drag into Sin Strip. Under the protection of outfit bosses like Frank Laporte, the district operated with total impunity. This data visualization highlights a staggering density. At its peak, Calumet City operated 1 bar for every 46 residents. More than 300 neon-soaked clubs packed into a tiny 2-block stretch. Inside, corset-wearing waitresses served drinks while dancers performed directly on the bars, all completely ignored by local police who were firmly on the mob's payroll. The constant influx of cash drew top-tier talent. Legendary jazz musicians, like the pioneering Sun Ra, regularly played the house bands in these joints. In the back rooms, illicit casinos operated completely in the open. Hubs like the Owl Club pulled in up to $100,000 a day through packed craps tables and slot machines. This level of open, syndicate-run gambling wasn't just profitable, it was a blueprint. Outfit leaders like Tony Accardo and Sam Giancana used Calumet City as the operational model for their eventual takeover of Las Vegas. Highly organized crime had converted a border town into a syndicate-run vice machine where local mayors actively barred police from making arrests. The system collapsed in the 1980s when the surrounding steel and gas industries began to fail, taking thousands of local jobs with them. As the tax base evaporated and the federal government began buying up apartment complexes for public housing, longtime residents abandoned the city. A massive power vacuum opened on Sin Strip. It was quickly filled by violently decentralized street gangs, including the Gangster Disciples. The neon clubs decayed into violent dives. Prostitution moved into the streets, rapidly becoming entangled with injected heroin and the growing HIV epidemic. By 1992, turf wars between a dozen different gangs escalated the murder rate, pushing Calumet City to the top of the list as one of the most statistically dangerous suburbs in the Chicago metropolitan area. The city itself began to rot. Historic syndicate buildings that once pulled in thousands of tourists sat abandoned, transforming into dilapidated eyesores right next to local school routes. Organized crime had fiercely protected its territory to ensure profits. Disorganized street gangs simply destroyed it. In 1993, the local government finally fought back. Mayor Jerry Genova signed sweeping executive orders designed to aggressively shut down the remaining illicit businesses. But decades of embedded vice couldn't be fixed with police patrols alone. The systemic rot was too deep to simply arrest away. So the city council approved an extreme strategy. They spent $7 million of taxpayer money to purchase the properties along the strip for the sole purpose of tearing them to the ground. The wrecking crews moved in. By 1997, the last of the notorious taverns and brothels were crushed into dust. Calumet City survived its history, but only by taking a wrecking ball to it, leaving nothing behind but empty fields of grass.